They asked me if I'd like to do research or be a researcher on a documentary that they were producing for the Gauteng legislature. It's a 3-month project, and how would you like to get paid? So I said, okay, what's the implication of getting paid weekly? And it's tax deductible, 28% because you're a freelancer. And I said, okay, but what if I invoiced as a company? I said, no, then you get all the money and then you deal with your tax. Yeah. I said, okay, I'll come back to you. Went and registered a company, business bank account, just got my things in order. I found an accountant who was able to help me with that. And then today there's 48 people.
Wow.
Yes, it's a team of 48 really great human beings.
Sibu Mabena is the founder of Duma Collective, a leading creative communications agency specializing in traditional PR, social media, influencer campaigns, event management, and multimedia design. Known for an innovative approach and deep understanding of youth culture, Sibu has built one of the strongest teams in the industry, making Duma Collective a stepping stone for many young creatives. Her agency has worked with some of the biggest names and brands, establishing itself as a powerhouse in South Africa's creative scene. Thank you so much. Thank you for making time. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
What brings you to Cape Town?
It's funny. I was actually just speaking to a friend now about resting, taking a chill pill. He's getting ready to rest. I said, getting ready to rest? What a privilege.
Yeah.
And he asked, okay, what are you doing in Cape Town? I'm like, I'm actually here for a friend's 40th birthday. So it's not work, which it usually is. It's just me saying, let me choose to do things that will fill my cup, because Incredible. It's time to also kind of see life for what it is, which is that we're human. And Absolutely. Life is made of time, and time won't last forever. So start to choose things that are not necessarily about work. So I'm here for a birthday party.
I love that. That's beautiful. Most people I chat to are here as like some sort of business related.
Yeah,
so I love that.
No, I'm here for a birthday party.
Amazing. I'm trying to figure out when was the first time we've met.
You were beatboxing at Masters of Rhythm. I don't know which year it was. It could have been 2008, 2009.
Crazy.
It goes way back.
And you were dancing.
Yeah, no, I was actually working on the team. I hustled Simba, Jay, Ollie,
Crazy,
Clementine. I was like,
but you danced at some point as well.
I did. Yes. I had a crew called Fly Nation, where it was 24 girls.
Yes.
We formed it out of a dance studio called Annette Mnyande Dancing School. And she was really gracious in that, okay, girls, you want to start a thing? Cool, use the studio. We had a brand. It was pink wings.
I remember.
It was actually really cool.
Oh, crazy.
And we were just some girls who wanted to put themselves out there to inspire other girls to say, guys, you can be great dancers, do well at school, keep your parents happy, and still have fun. But that's not what got me into Masters. It was that I was so fascinated by street dancing, because we came from a studio environment. We were in the South African hip hop dance team. We're competing internationally, etc. But the streets, man, you watch You Got Served, you watch Stomp the Yard.
That grabbed all of us. It was a special time.
It was such a great time. And to
man.
see 10,000 kids at Standard Bank Arena, or 8,000, at Standard Bank Arena, all there for hip hop. And I mean, I do believe that dance culture is what elevated hip hop music.
Absolutely.
Dalez, Pro Kid, so many artists of that time can really say that dance contributed to their careers being elevated. Keep as a label, all these cool things that were happening. Vuzu as a channel came on at some point to broadcast what was going on, because the source was with the kids.
Do you remember when dancers were the
celebrities.
Celebrity in the country? It was rappers and artists and musicians were so low down that list. It was dancers.
The repertoires, Laryngitis and Tato and all of those people. I mean, Vuzu had a whole reality show around it. Cream Cartel was the first reality show I think we had in SA, But running with the reps really took it to another level. So it was quite cool. It was a cool time.
So tell me, if we at like a dinner party and someone asks you like, and it's some sort of professional setting, and someone asks you what you do for a living, how do you articulate that answer?
I run a communications agency that specializes in traditional PR, social media, influencer campaigns, event management, and multimedia design.
Amazing.
I'm well trained now.
Really I love it. It's polished now.
It's been a couple of years of having to refine this thing and be able to package the story into a succinct, what do you do in a tweet? Because if you can't tell people what you do, then they don't know how to use you.
Absolutely. That's brilliant.
Yeah.
Tell me, if we're watching a documentary on your life, we're reading your autobiography, how do you think you would open your life story? What's the opening scene?
Oh my goodness, I've never thought of that, George. What a hard question. But geez, what is at the crux of my story is the thing I loved the most, which is dancing.
Amazing.
So I think it would start with me putting on a pair of kicks, and then the next scene is me putting on a pair of ballet shoes. Then the next scene is me putting on a pair of tap shoes, and then Spanish dancing shoes, because it's been such an eclectic kind of combination of styles that have gotten me to where I am today. I'm so privileged to have that exposure. You know, my parents spending so much money allowing me to dance, and that then opening up my world. The first time not the first time I traveled, but I think the second time I traveled internationally was for a dance competition. And then the first time I got into sponsorship was to raise money for me to go dance at a dance competition. I've done activations in the streets, me with the board. Please give us money to go overseas.
Crazy.
And that's where the entrepreneurial thing came in. I've raised sponsorship for the team to go. Dancing is where it starts.
Incredible. And it's like all the different styles feel like such a different metaphor to what you do now, you know?
Yes.
Where like the street dancing's your culture side, the other styles are more your...
My corporates,
you know?
Yeah, you're right.
You know, that's beautiful, man. That's beautiful. When does the eventing sort of bug bite? Is it being sort of in these rooms and these events, or was it the first event you got involved with organizing? When does eventing, because it plays quite a big role in at least your online persona.
Yes.
I think a lot of people have that perception about you, like you can fix it, you're the doctor of events, you've got this whole thing about. How does that happen?
I think, again, back to dancing, the first time I experienced culture and community and a global, or just, so many different types of human people coming into a space over one thing, which was hip hop dancing. People from Poland, Germany, Italy, the US, South Africa.
Yeah.
And what has brought us together is dance. I was 13 at a dance competition in Germany, and I think there were 4,000 of us.
Wow.
And brands were activating, Red Bull, Coca-Cola, all sorts of like global brands. And I looked at that and I said, wow, I really wish people in South Africa could experience this.
Amazing.
I'm 13 years old, seeing that and wanting to be kind of part of bringing that experience to my people back home. So when I was 16 then, I bought a ticket to Masters of Rhythm. And
crazy.
Yeah. I kind of hustled them on Facebook. I kept pushing, please, can I work? Please, can I work? Can I intern? This, that, and the other. And because they were too busy to see it, I just decided I'm going to go there at 6:00 in the morning, and I'll be the first person at the door or the gates. And when they arrive, they'll find me there. And it happened that way. And I just introduced myself, said to the guys, I would like to work here. I do have a ticket, but if there's anything I can help with, please let me know. And obviously, they just didn't have a plan for me. But after getting comfortable with me, after a couple of hours of me running around with them, I said to Simba, who's holding your phone whilst you're judging? And he's like, okay, fine, you can do it. and I became his assistant. But in my mind, it's like, be the assistant to the head honcho and you get access to everything. So if he needs to send me backstage, I get to go there. If I need to go check something at the gate, I get to go there. That's where I learned about Jock. You know, Jay was dealing with some issue with security, and then there's lighting in the ticketing booth, and then Ollie's dealing with the gates, and Clementine's dealing with George, and all these different exposures in that one event certified in my mind that this is where I want to be.
Incredible, man. Shout out to them all. Mernoli, Simba.
Yes.
Legendary, Jay, Ali. Like, they did something so important for that time. We all got an opportunity to refine our skills in this like incredible environment that they had created. Like,
and to network.
And we must also understand, like, that was probably the biggest hip hop event that time, like in the country, undoubtedly, you know, and it was the first time they were figuring it out, you know.
Yes.
I don't doubt they have their flaws and there's so many things they've done wrong, but you know, what they did in that time will go down in history. Like, that was such an important marker for the industry, you know.
And so many different companies have come out of that experience. There's a Duma collective today because there was this group of people who were daring enough to throw this massive event. There's a Fresh AF now that Jay is involved in. There's Stay Low that Fred is involved in. There's all these amazing companies that have come out of a time where a bunch of kids decided, there's something in there, let's make something of it. Whether we fail, whether we win, we're going to say we did it anyway. So yeah, that's what cemented in my mind that this is where I want to be.
Absolutely. And then were you also involved in Tilly and Casper's fill-up?
Yes.
What was your involvement there?
Oh, what a time. Bless Tilly, bless Casper. I was a bartender at the Sands. Crazy. Please don't ask me about the years, but I worked there, and Tilly was a DJ. But he was a DJ who was also, he had like a really formal job. I forgot if it's IT or something like that.
Banking or something.
Yeah. But he would come to the Sands, play, and then on a Tuesday come and fetch his money because they would pay out on Tuesdays. And then he'd arrive and the bosses are giving him some story. So he'll come sit at the bar with me whilst I'm doing whatever I'm doing. And then we just get to talking and we created a bond. And he's like, yeah, your people are not paying me again. And, you know, we just chat, right? So he gets to know me, takes a liking to me. And at some point, he brings Casper on because now he started managing Casper.
Yes.
And Casper performed. I think it was Doc Cheveleza at the time when he still had the pony, and it was on a stage, like not a stage, a very small stage, but he danced on the bass box, a bass bin or something like that. And it's then when I said, okay, something is happening with these two people, that this man believes in this guy so much, he's willing to invest his own money in him. I think he would even top up some of, you know, the money that Casper gets because no one was actually believing in him at the time as just a kid out of nowhere or the guy who used to follow Double HP around. And in that, I started to see the growth that was happening because from performing on the bass bin, now you've got a song out. Then the song is out, now you've got a music video. Oh my goodness, now you're actually on big stages. And I wanted in on that. So when they launched the Fill Up campaign, said, hey, we're filling up the dome. I'm like, this audacity, who's filled up the dome? Like, no South African has done that. But I had the privilege of working on different shows there. So mine was to say, I'm going to raise my hand and say, I want to help. I want to be part of this. You don't have to pay me because I understand how much it's taking of you to build this thing that no one is actually sure how to support beyond buying a ticket. So I bought my tickets like I did with Masters. And in asking them, how can I help? How can I help? They didn't even know how I could help. So lucky for me, I'd been working for MTV during that period.
Yeah.
And I went to the EMAs. Shout out Dylan Khan, who arranged for me to shadow the creative director, Paul Caslin. And the day I got back was the day of the show. So dropped my bags off at home, went to the dome, afternoon. I'd pulled a Masters of Rhythm on Tilly and Cass. Got to the dome and I was like, guys, I want to work here. I don't know what you're going to make me do, but I want to work here. And because of my background in show business, let me call it that, having been at an art school, so we worked in theaters, etc., I figured in the context of performance, who's helping Casper with his quick changes? And no one had an answer. I said, that's where I'm going to help.
in.
It is
Let's
me.
go.
It is I.
It is I.
I'm going to do that. Spike, wear the clothes.
Yeah.
Gareth, who was the creative director of the show and building the stage and all of that with his company Formative, he was just like, cool, so you're my go-to person. You're helping me, because he was stage managing.
Yeah.
And in the dressing room, I'm laying out the clothes. I'm steam ironing things. Just like, okay, I'm Casper's person and making sure he gets on and off stage on time. And that is the responsibility I'm taking on. And it worked out. So now Teely sees that, oh man, this girl is valuable beyond being a bartender or the social media manager of the Sands or whatever. 'Cause I did many different things.
Yes.
And when Philip Orlando came up, he then called me and said, hey, you're up. You look like you like the stage thing, so come and be the stage manager, so manage the stage team. So I built a team, brought on some friends to come in and just direct the talent operations, which is just making sure talent knows where to go, when to be here, how to drive into the stadium, etc.
Yeah.
Did that. Then F&B came up and Teely was like, come back again, but now in a bigger role. And with F&B, I headed up the intern program with them that we co-created. It was, again, building the stage team, all the talent operations, assisting on the marketing, assisting with the sponsorship. So we were part of like Exco, essentially. And it was Teely just trusting that you have something to offer. You will find a place to offer it in this thing that we're creating. And that's how I got involved in the Philip series.
Incredible, man. And yeah, just a big shout out to them, man. I have
Yo.
so much love for Teely. I have so much love for Cass. And like, again, people don't realize, like, talk about the evolution from masters to like, what a groundbreaking time what they did. You know,
Yep.
Like, people don't realize what it takes to execute an event on that level.
Yeah.
And not to pass it to some production company who does every other show in the country without mentioning them. Like, to put a team together and do it yourselves, like,
And to give people a
huge.
chance.
Huge, to give people a chance to build a team and to
Yes.
like, man, I have so much love and respect for Teely and just into. I always say, like, I mean, I've been in some rooms in the States where I meet some of the best managers in the world. I'm like, yo, Teely, for breakfast, all these people here for breakfast, easy. I'm not even kidding. You know,
Yeah.
like, we don't realize what level we're executing at
Yeah.
here in South Africa sometimes. So that's incredible. And how does Duma Collective come together?
So in 2014, I'm in varsity at the University of Pretoria. And I'm about to graduate, or I just finished graduating. But before that, I was doing voiceovers for a company called Global Access. I had an agent, like an acting agent called Jolene Martins, one of the most incredible actresses in the country. And she would book me for voiceovers. I did voiceovers for F&B, voiceovers for APSA, through Global Access, this company. And they asked me, considering my background in political science, what I'm studying, etc., if I'd like to do research or be a researcher on a documentary that they were producing for the Gauteng legislature. I said, yeah, absolutely. Great, would love to do that. Not knowing how much it pays or whatever, she's like, oh, I like these people, I'll do it. And then when it came to contract negotiations, it was that it pays about 30K a month. It's a 3-month project. And how would you like to get paid? Do you want weekly? Because I'm a student. Weekly, monthly, or at the end of the thing. So I'm just like, whoa, 30,000 rand? Not that I was a stranger to money, because I was a bartender. I taught dancing. I know money.
Yeah.
So I said, okay, what's the implication of getting paid weekly? And it's tax deductible, 28% because you're a freelancer. And I said, okay, but what if I invoiced as a company? I said, no, then you get all the money and then you deal with your tax.
Yeah.
I said, okay, I'll come back to you. Went and registered a company, business bank account, just got my things in order. I found an accountant who was able to help me with that. And
How did you put the name together? Why a collective? What were you sort of, are you just thinking?
It didn't even start there. It was like, okay, company name, and you've got to give 3 options, right?
Yes.
And I just learned what my clan name is, which is Duma.
Yes.
So I thought, oh man, it would be cool to have like an email address that's my surname at myclanname.com. And I just had this whole like spiritual thing going on. So Duma Communications was company name number 1. And I actually packaged it as a really professional operation. I had a logo, I had a website,
Amazing.
a domain name, email address, the whole thing. So Duma Communications was the first company. And it was for the purpose of invoicing like a professional, but it actually became an organization of one, but an organization nonetheless. And then I just kept running it. And I was running this really high-level freelancing operation where the type of clients I had were SAB, Global Access, like I said. At some point, MTV, or Viacom became a client. And Knorr was a client. I was working with Unilever, but through another agency. And
were you pitching, or is this sort of just naturally
people seeing the work on
okay,
Instagram?
incredible.
And because I'm posting about it, and it's just like, oh, this kid that we know from the Sands, who was running the Sands' social media and engaging with the different event promoters. So when Good Sunday would throw an event, Benny Maverick, Sibs Jali, I'm the one that's liaising. When Pop Bottles was there, it's Dimples, it's Lance. I'm liaising with them. When Miller comes to do an activation with NBA, I'm the one that's liaising with Sunshine and Melanie Ramji. So all of this network gets built around me being of service at the Sands as a social media manager and a bartender. So fine, Duma is now a company. People can engage professionally with me. And we work for about 3 years, but struggling to build a brand that people can remember, that people can pronounce. You know, some people say Mubuduma, Mabuduma.
Yeah.
Black people, white people, everybody just couldn't say it. And it'd just be like Sibu and her team. You know, at some point we were doing work for...
Duma.
It was just not catching.
Yeah.
And it really irritated me. So I decided to do something about it. And Duma Collective comes from Duma.
Amazing.
But it's so serendipitous that Duma means to be famous. Like idumile, Duma. So it's loud, it's known. And then the collective just came from it being, it's a group of people. I'm going to be bigger than just one. At the time, I actually did have 2 employees, I think, under Duma, 2 or 3. And then the process of now registering the company, moving employees over to the new company, the branding, all of that stuff happened. And that's how Duma Collective came about in 2017.
I love that.
Yeah.
And did you start by yourself? And then who was the first signing?
My first teammate was Ellen Chabane, who's just such an incredible creative now. She stalked me on Facebook and she's like, I want to work with you. I don't care what it takes. I said, fine, tomorrow I'm Fulo Park, 8 o'clock. We're doing a Mayo activation. She was there before me. And she brought a friend. I was like, okay, girl is serious. I think she was 18, 19. But she just wanted to be working with me because of the stuff I was putting out to say, like, this is what I do in communications, etc. And she became my everything. Like, you don't speak of Sibu without speaking of Ellen. Wow. You know, like, everyone, every DJ, every artist knows Ellen. Whoever's worked with, even my best friends knew Ellen. Just, where's Ellen? If you can't get a hold of me, you get a hold of her. She's moved house for me. Ellen, my family knows Ellen. And she's really, we call her an ancestor of Duma Collective because the two of us really figured things out together.
Yes.
After Ellen, who was it? Siwe, I think it was, who then moved on to work for PH. And then, my story is so crazy. So much has happened. At some point, Tube joined us, and then Kwanele joined, and then...
Crazy.
Today, there's 48 people.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a team of 48 really great human beings. And before them, I think... in the period, we probably had about 60 people all call themselves Dumerians in some way, shape, or form. And some of them have gone on to start new businesses. Yes. Others are working in big agencies. Agencies have been poaching from us now. And I'm just like, it's really irritating, but it's really great.
Are you choosing sides? That comes with the territory, right? It's that level now that you're operating at. And what are the qualities you look at in a person you're trying to hire today?
Are
What are the
you
most important things?
the humanity? It's
Okay.
the I see skill. Skill is there, talent is there, but are you a nice person?
I love that. I love that. That's so
Are you a nice
important. I
person?
always say this. I'm just like, yo, that is so important.
Yes.
Skills we can teach you.
Yes. And talent is there, but
Yeah,
are you someone that people will want to come to work and work with?
I love that.
Also, just what do you want? What do you want? What is this experience going to do for you? Is it for you to be part of really epic things and you can stand on a mountain and say, I did that? I like that. I like people who want to take pride in the work that they do.
That's a really important point.
Yeah, we
I
don't just
love
work.
that.
Like, don't do things for the sake of doing them so you can get paid at the end of the month. Do things that are going to be meaningful, have an impact on someone, whether it's a consumer or your client's career. What else? How much responsibility can you handle? So one of the questions I ask is, do you have siblings? What number are you in the pecking order? So I know if you're a firstborn, there's a bit of a leadership thing that has come automatically. If you're a middle child, you're a bit of a diplomat. There's a negotiator in you where you're able to push and pull on either end. If you're a lastborn, there's an ability to learn and also be not necessarily listened to or heard. So you've got that fighting spirit to be seen. So different life experiences also contribute to who you are as an individual in the context of your work and the work that you contribute to a team. So yeah, many different human things are what I look for when hiring.
I love that. So which one, if let's say you don't know the person, you had to pick, is it the firstborn, the middle child, or the lastborn?
It depends what the team needs,
Of course,
right?
of
Because
course.
sometimes we're looking for a client service person.
Yeah.
And in client service, you've got to be a great negotiator
I love that.
because you're dealing with the team internally and the client externally, and then agency partners as well. So there's a diplomacy that has to be
Oh, that's genius.
in you, right? Because you can't just be there and be like, listen to me all the time. No.
Yeah.
Sometimes know when to speak, know when to not speak, right? And when I'm looking for a social media manager who's going to be in the streets, do things, go to events, put their hand up to be like, yeah, I'll do that. Then you're looking for the younger person who doesn't have too much responsibility, but is skillful and talented at what they do, but also has a hunger for experiences and wants to learn and be seen. So yeah, it just depends
I love that.
what we're looking
do you
for.
have siblings?
I do.
Where are you?
Yo, it's so weird. On my, our lived experiences are also
Yes.
complicated. With my dad, I'm the middle child.
Yes.
Yes, I'm the middle child.
Negotiator.
Yes, because I have
Sponsorships, let's go.
a little sister who's 13.
Yes,
I
yes.
have a little brother who's 23. Then I have an older sister who's 50.
Yes.
Then I'm 33. So it's just like my older sister who's so strict.
Yes.
My little sister who's just like a teenager. And then my brother who's really just the neutral guy.
Yeah.
I'm usually the translator between people.
Yes.
Then on my mom's side, I'm the last born.
Okay.
So-
Out at the events, let's go.
I guess it's just, I got to do all sorts of things. That's how I ended up here.
Yes.
Because my mom was just too tired to
Yeah.
like, no, don't do that. She's just tired.
Yeah.
So that's been my experience of being a last born and a middle child. So I've had to wear different hats under different scenarios, and it's been really cool.
Amazing. I just want to touch on a point that you mentioned earlier. I think it's just important to reiterate that for like young creatives. You mentioned, not running business through your personal account. I think that's so important because you are a business. This is we're not telling you to evade tax here.
No.
This is like super legal
SARS
and
must
the
be your
right way.
friend.
100%. Because you as a business run expenses, and there's so many things that you don't realize in the beginning that you're actually running to just get the business going. So it's very important to run all your expenses into a business.
Yep.
Obviously within reason, you can't
Yep.
put all your groceries through like,
No.
guys, no Woolworths.
Don't
for the
go to
company.
Tops with your business
please,
card.
guys, yeah. Unless it's a corporate gift for a
Yes.
client or something, we can get away with it. But everything within reason. But I think that's very, very important. Tell me, how do you see the sort of future for the business? Is it doing what it does on a bigger scale? Is it branching into different, because it feels like your company is built almost like, if I think of a metaphor, like an octopus, and has different arms, and it's like, you cut some off, then something else grows, and it just feels like you've got these, you know?
So where we're at now is we're sure that we're building an oasis for African creativity to flourish. We've decided that as a team. Everyone who's there today, whether they are there in 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, today we're working on having a company that other creatives are able to find and want to work in and be able to work in and participate in all that we deliver for our clients. Brilliant. Today, tomorrow, and well into the future. So we know that it's not something that's going to close shop anytime soon. It's not something that is going to change into a funeral parlor or like a business that sells t-shirts. Yes. We are an oasis for African creativity to flourish in the creative communication space, right?
Beautiful.
And ours is to make sure that where we're at today, we're able to be better than that tomorrow and continue doing that for as long as we can do it. For as long as we are profitable, for as long as we're able to bring people in and service their needs, for as long as clients are willing to work with us, for as long as there's an opportunity to do great work. So our business units as they are, we're quite, we're happy with that. We don't want to do too much too quickly. Gotcha. We're happy being a medium-sized agency. We're happy servicing multinational corporations in South Africa, in Europe, in the US. We've got clients in really great places and spaces. And it's just to continue doing this for as long as we can until further notice, because I'm not one that had a business plan for this. I didn't. I really was just taking it one day at a time with one person and then the next and then the next, one client and then the next and the next, one job and then the next and the next. And that's how we arrived here. So we're just going to continue doing this better than we did yesterday.
She doesn't have a business plan. She is the business plan. I love that. Tell me something. In terms of your company right now, what would you say, like, what is, without divulging numbers or whatever, but like, what is bringing in the most, like your pillars? Like, is it the social media stuff? Is it the clients that are on the sponsorship side? Like, how are you structured? Like, what is the sort of, you know?
It's very interesting because it's been so cyclical, if I can call it that, since COVID, 2020, we ventured into like sponsorship for television production. So that's how we did Lockdown House Party.
Crazy.
It was a reaction thing. No actual plan. It was just PH, Shimza, meeting, multi-choice. Now, let's go. Okay, licensing. Cool, fine. Friend, Lazola, please can you help us with sponsorship? We've got this TV show. Tell me, Samsung, what's going on? Is there anything? I've got this Lockdown House Party. Drip, look out. Do you want to get in? And boom, beautiful. We had a TV show on Channel O, and we're able to pay DJs who had no source of income during that time and really have a different spin on AFPs. So that's eventing, but on a television production thing. And that was up. And then somewhere, brand strategy became a thing for us. Big agencies were closing down and clients needed servicing. And I said, I'll do it. And then I went and found other people to come help me do it. So collaboration really built the business. So that was a brand strategy thing, which we are now much better at because we've brought in the right talent in-house. Amazing. But it started through collaborating with other people who were really great at it. Social media then came up because we got an opportunity to service multi-choice and DSTV Prem. And we then were doing all the social media behind the DSTV Prem. And that then came up at some point. Then influencer management came up because we started doing like many influencer campaigns, which is something that actually was the bread and butter for a while. That's how we really blew up as a company.
Wow.
So at different times, different things happened, right? That events were closed, so events were down. But digital was up, so influencers were up. Now it's 2024 and things have opened up. There is eventing, there is social media influencers, there is social media management, there is PR. And as at today, I would say our blesser is influencer management.
Incredible.
We're working with so many influencers on so many different campaigns. And one of the things we pride ourselves on is that we have really great relationships with talent. We pay people on time. We brief well. We collaborate with them well. We're good at reporting back, like results to our clients. Where things get difficult, we're good in the crisis management space. So influencer campaigns, that's what's blessing the business right now.
That's incredible, man. Yeah, you just, you almost, how do you know when to pivot and bring something else in? Like, is it intuition? Like, how are you?
Sometimes it's on demand. You know, when a client asks for it, then we'll find the right people to help. We don't like leaving money on the table without positioning ourselves as people who'll take everything. We're not greedy. But if it's something within our purview, something we can access, then we will try our best to make it happen for you. But other times it's on reading the room to see what's happening, keeping our ear to the ground, say, oh man, okay. People are moving towards automation. How do we start to learn about it and see where we can apply that? The use of AI. We're not going to all just like jump scream, oh, AI, now we are specialists. No, let's learn. Let's bring in other people who are thought leaders on this and see how we can adapt AI into our way of doing things to drive efficiencies for our clients as well. So it really is on demand from industry, demand from our ability to do the work better. And yeah, that's how we assess.
I love that. You're brilliant, by the way. Just the way you
Thank you.
structure your thoughts, and it's mad inspiring, man.
Thank you so much.
I would love to know. Do you read, by the way? What's one book you've read more than any other book and you keep going back to read?
So there was a time where I read Animal Farm like a crazy person. Like George Orwell just created this world in my mind of how unequal society is. And you just have to work your way through it. I'm like Boxer, the horse. I get that other people are treated better, but I'm still here and you're going to acknowledge my existence. So that's been a grounding book for me. Bible quotes. Ooh.
Really?
It's not the book, like cover to cover, but just various quotes in the Bible keep me going, because it's like, in my belief system, it is that if these people were able to get through these scenarios, so can I. And then a book I've read lately is How Did We Get Here by Mpumi Lidwaba. And just reading about another woman's existence and her human experience and how I relate to so much of it has just made, has like certified that it's not just you going through this, right? It's like, it's you're part of such a big universe of people who have many very similar experiences as you, and it just feels like there's community. And you're not alone. And then parts of the 5 a.m. club have really
stuck with you.
Whoa, really? Robin Sharma is quite the genius. He's actually coming to South Africa soon, so I'm looking forward to that. And then I'm currently reading Dare to Lead by Brené Brown. Which, you know, sometimes you think you're doing well, but you can do better. And you only realize that when you read about people doing better.
That's powerful. I love that. Did you ever get funding in the business? Did.
But I didn't know what to do with it.
Really?
It was just like, hey, we are the Multi-Choice Innovation Fund. You're a digital agency. We're looking for digital companies. business development come through. It's an ESD program, and it was Duma Collective, the Throne magazine, Bubblegum Club, 4 other companies as well. And in this program, we got mentorship, and we were allocated funding according to the business needs. That's when I had to put together a business plan to be like, okay, if I got funding, this is what I'll do with it. But because there are rules and restrictions to the use of the money, then that's kind of where it's channeled, which was to equipment for us. So we were able to just get laptops and, software and that kind of thing. But before that, it was never in my mind to use other people's money to grow my business. It was that I'm always going to use what I have to do what I need to do, to make more money, to do what I want to do. And that's how I started the business, 90,000 Rand from doing the Global Access Project that Amazing. I invoiced as a company. And that 90,000 Rand funded a 350,000 Rand project for Viacom. And that 350,000 Rand income funded a 1 million Rand project. And that's how I grew the business. At some point, I then had to just kind of give into the demands of a business and get an overdraft because I needed to pay money that was above what I had in the bank, but was guaranteed by a contract. Yes. So F&B really came through for me. I will sing their praises every day that I can. And my business manager at the time was Tabang, and he was on holiday. It was December. I needed to pay 2 big artists deposits for an ambassadorship on a brand. And I couldn't be the one to breach the contract as a black supplier who asked for the opportunity to do the job. So I just had to give in, go and get an overdraft from the bank, guaranteed by my contract, like I said. And that's how the company started growing off of other people's money. But it was other people's money that I was accessing, knowing I have other money, which is mine, coming in to service the loans. So
it still has its risks, right? Even if it's the bank, it's still like,
It does, but what I've been very sure of is I don't want to owe people money.
Yes.
Because if you don't service that loan, so many things can happen, relationships can be ruined.
Yeah.
And so long as I've got 10 fingers, 10 toes, 2 ears and a nose, I will be able to work to cultivate capital to be able to fund my business.
Would you ever take sort of funding into the business on like a bigger scale to raise capital for company?
That's where we're at now.
Okay.
I've even gone down the process of doing a valuation of the business.
Yes.
To understand what is Duma Collective actually worth.
Yes.
We have 2 buildings to our name,
Crazy.
We have really great contracts with great clients. We have this repository of knowledge and a great team of people and a great talent bank that is worth something. We have the equity we've built in the industry that is worth something. So how do we package all of that to say, this is what Duma Collective is actually valued at?
Yes.
Then in understanding that, I'm now able to ideate around raising capital and what I would do with that capital, which is then what's going to drive our business growth. So when I say doing better tomorrow than we're doing today, is to say, what does better look like? Is it getting more experienced talent? How much is that going to cost? So where am I going to get the money to do that? Is it diversifying our offering? When I say we're really happy with what we're able to do right now, but how do we do it better? There's a cost attached to that.
Absolutely.
How are we going to fund some of these projects that we're taking on? We're taking on bigger work now that has 90-day payment terms to it now because we've taken on bigger clients with really insane protocols around payment and procurement and all of that. So as you grow, so do the demands of the business, especially financially, and you've got to start to think about how you're going to fund that growth. So that's where I'm at right now.
Amazing. Well, if any of your investors are listening right now, you are a sure bet.
We're ready
they're
to
ready.
talk.
Tell me, what does your day-to-day look like? Obviously managing and having so many different people on the team. Where does most of your time go in the business today? No 2 days are the same. I'll tell you that.
It's so different in that there's team development, there's mentorship, there's creation, there's client servicing, and then there's operations.
Yes.
I think that those are and then business development as well. Those are the hats I wear.
Yes.
On a leadership front or team development, it's seeing people, noticing what's happening with them, with the work that they're delivering. If something is not as good as it should be, it's interrogating that, hey, come sit with me. How are you doing? What's happening? I see that there's a change in what you're delivering, or a change in energy. Are you okay? How do we help you? How do we support you? And my MD, Lindiwe Maduna, she's the wind beneath my wings. Do you hear me? If it wasn't for her, she's so maternal, she's so wise. She's like, she just sees things in people and like, something's wrong there. Oh, wow, did you notice that this person's doing really great? So she and I have a really great partnership in driving people's growth in their careers as well. So that's the development role. Then the mentorship, I love my interns. We have like 4 really great interns, and it's just like hanging out with them and showing them things. Every now and then I get to take someone somewhere when I'm doing something, be like, just come do the social media for me. So one time Tsepan came to Gibbs with me, and she was exposed to like all these women in sports because I was doing a momentum campaign, and just that kind of let's talk on a drive experience. And
amazing.
The intern gets to hang with the boss. I think that's so cool because that's the point of being in a company and having access to, she gets to hold Simba's phone, okay? And, they worked on Delicious Festival with me.
Yeah.
I asked the Delicious Exco, please, can I bring interns to come in and work? And they were so gracious in accepting that. And at the end of the night, they got a photo with Jason Derulo.
Amazing.
I don't have a photo of Jason Derulo. They have a picture with Jason Derulo. And that for me was like, that's the point, right? Yes. Why would we gatekeep experiences that I said I want other people to have access to? So that's the mentorship part. On a business development, it's networking, speaking to people, going and searching for the opportunity, putting yourself out there. I'm in the streets a lot where I'm actively seeking work because it's not enough to just say, we got this, we're done, or they know us, they'll find us. No, not in this very competitive landscape we work in. Operations, I will tell our groundsman, David, please, the paint in the bathroom, can you go fix it? Can you just go and wipe the walls? Or why is there litter in the driveway? Or like, can we change the paving? Or why are we not, So it's also seeing the things that the team are not seeing because they're so in it. So I'll try to provide a third party view.
Perspective a little bit further out. I love
perspective.
That. Yeah,
I'll
brilliant.
go buy cups and say, I was at a meeting and this is how they served me tea. This is how we're going to serve tea now.
I love that.
I smelled this diffuser. Osmatlodi, please can you go and find it for us, right? Amazing. So that's just the operations of it. And it's not to micromanage people. It's not to not let people do their jobs.
It's detailing,
it's
right?
just to add that other touch to it because, more people think better than one. And then the client servicing, some of our clients are going through such a tough time.
Yes.
Like the corporate is tough right now. Yes. Restructures, all sorts of crazy things. So sometimes it's just to WhatsApp a client and say, I know you're going through hell. I know you're going through hell. Come work from the office today. Just come here and come work here because it'll just take you out of that toxic environment, that really not nice space. Or just to check in on someone, be like, how's your daughter, dude? And it's really not for any reason, like a business development thing. No, it's just to say you're human first before you are whoever at whoever.
Incredible.
So there's the client servicing. And just creating, being part of the work, being part of delivering on the briefs, because I'm a creative first, a business leader or business owner second. And I love to come up with ideas. I love to contribute my exposure to the work we're delivering, to say, oh, guys, I saw this and wherever, maybe we can try it here. Or what if we can do this? Because a good idea can come from anywhere. Marcel Swain loves to say that. A good idea can come from anyone in the room. So I love to be in the room. And if I come up with a great idea, amazing. If I come up with a nonsense idea, but someone else comes up with a good idea from my nonsense idea, we've won. So that's
Amazing.
what I do in a day.
Incredible.
But I'm in the office every day.
Every day.
Yeah.
I love that. A few more questions before we wrap up. If I'm listening to this and I have started agency by myself, so I'm wearing a lot of hats, what is some advice you would give to someone stepping in? Because I'm seeing a lot of the sort of nomad thing that a lot of people are starting agencies by themselves and doing their thing.
Oh, I run an agency. Oh, how many people do you have? No, it's just me. It's okay.
Exactly. And what would your advice be for someone in that position right now?
I mean, there's the theoretical stuff, which is like, learn as much as you can, collaborate with people, hire people. It's like, no, in real life, it's really difficult to have the money to do all of that or to have the time to do all of that. But at a practical level, I think it's, fine, I built this business without a business plan, but have a plan. And it doesn't have to mirror a business plan that has SWOT analysis and 3-year vision. No, it's just to say, how am I intending on getting to milestone 1 and then milestone 2 and 3 and 4? If you don't have what am I doing? How am I going to do it? Why am I doing it? Who am I going to do it with? Where am I doing it? Then what are you doing? If you can't answer that, you already have a problem. And a lot of people I find are running agencies. Oh, I'm a digital agency. But do you understand what digital is? And then what a digital agency does and how they do it and how much they do it for? If you don't have a plan to answer all of those questions, then you have a problem. So it's to put a plan together that answers just those basic questions: when, where, why, how, who, and what. And then I think be diligent and disciplined in executing that plan, because there are 365 days in a year, 24 hours in a day, but you can waste so much of that time just floating around, hoping for opportunities to come your way because you just didn't have a plan. 2, read. Information is there. In the age of the internet, there's no excuse. In fact, in the age of TikTok, there's no excuse for not knowing how to do something.
Yeah.
The information is there. It's probably just on page 7 of the Google search. But because you didn't find it on page 1, you decide, no, I can't find the info. I don't know what to do. I don't know where to go. It's there. Spend time reading. Yeah. Go deeper. And our parents did that. Our parents were able to learn so much because they read so much. Ask questions. Ask people. Don't be embarrassed to ask. So it's just to say, be thirsty for knowledge and really disciplined in acquiring that knowledge, because unfortunately, to do the work we do as agency owners, as creatives, as whatever, you actually have to know something. You have to know how to do it. And I think thirdly, respect the money. Respect money. Whatever money you get, use it wisely. A lot of people know this, that I had money in the bank account. I had 90,000 Rand. I don't want to speak about the million. I had 90,000 in the account. And I was taking taxis. I was taking a taxi to Global Access in town at Absa Towers from Sunning Hill every day, sleeping on my father's couch. I could have taken that money, say, oh, I'm up. I'm going to go get a townhouse. I'm going to go do my thing. But because I respected the money to say, I'm going to need this money to make me my next 90,000 Rand. And then when I had enough, I was able to say, okay, now I'm up. Now I can actually afford to go and have expenses. So respect the money, because that's what builds businesses, money.
I love that. In your Duma Collective journey, is there a day that stands out that you would say was your toughest day?
2 days.
Yeah.
The first was when Ellen resigned. I think actually her last day, yeah. And that shook my world. I'd experienced resignations before, but it was that, they're moving on to something that, we kind of built together. We're channeling you together. But with Ellen, it was so real that, oh, damn, people leave.
Right.
Right? Like, people leave. It had such a, triggering effect on me, because on a human level, you experience loss in different ways, growing up, whatever the story is, but you don't realize how it affects you in other spaces, like your work. So that was a very tough day for me, because it was such a reality check that people will leave. And what I had to go through with therapy was, they're not leaving you. They're leaving the business to go and do the thing that they have to do on their journey. So, entrepreneurship is a bus. It goes forward, but people jump on, people jump off, and then other people jump on and others jump off. So in that time, not knowing that, it just felt like she was leaving me. But today I can speak so positively about that experience, because I've learned so much from it. And had that not happened, I don't know where Duma Collective would be today. Second toughest day was this year, 2 months ago.
Wow.
A client sending a termination letter, termination of services.
Crazy.
And it was very tough to be hit with such an official statement of a breakup, right? Like, it's like when you break up with a person, then they block you. See, the breakup is fine.
But the blocking,
But the
over.
block, bro, it's just like, you can't talk to me.
Yeah.
No matter what you have to say, you can't talk to me. So that letter, and it wasn't, it's just a very complicated story, but it wasn't because our work is bad or, it's just a lot going on in their world. So we are collateral damage to that.
Yes.
But essentially, that termination is so final. It's like a coffin going into the grave. And that was so tough in the context of, we've been through so much with these people, and now we can never go through more with them. And it's the finality of that relationship. So coaching the team through that experience to say, a lot of your career has been defined by working on these accounts. And now we have to see this as an opportunity to explore other things. And, God takes and God gives. Because on that same day, we got an appointment letter from another global company.
Incredible.
So
Life works that way. It's crazy.
A life of duality.
Yeah.
And it's that, tough as that day was, it is the day that has defined how the rest of Duma Collective is going to look going forward. So, yeah.
Amazing. Thank you
2
for
tough
sharing
days.
those. It's like, I also hate the saying, it's like, it's not personal, it's business. It's like, business is very personal. You work with
Extremely
these
personal.
people all the time, and
Yeah.
it's like, and
You know
I
their
love
names.
that it affects you that way, because it also means you care that much.
Yeah.
I think the key is, like you're saying, not dwelling and living there forever, because that's
Yep.
unhealthy. But I think just, being okay with letting go and making peace with that is the journey and the work that one needs to do. But I think it's so okay to be hurt when someone leaves.
Yeah.
Or, when you lose a client or receiving that termination letter, that means that matters that much to you.
It
Because if
does.
it didn't, you'd be like, oh,
On
get
to
out
the
of here,
next.
on to the next.
That's fine. But it's
know?
it's not it's not normal what we do, because we're creators, and when you create something and bring something to life and see it happen and the effect it has on people, that thing matters. That effect, that's what matters on how your clients feel when we're smashing the KPIs. How the consumer feels and they're like, whoa, that's so cool. Or when someone wins something and they're like, I've never won anything in my life. Or when someone gets to go on a trip, be like, wow, I've never been treated like this.
Wow.
Or people feel seen. When when brands are brought to life, when things just make people feel something, that's a very precious thing. And when it's taken away, or the opportunity to continue doing that is taken away, you have to reframe your mind to say, okay, it's not a permanent thing that I won't be able to do this. I just won't be able to do it for these people. I now have to find other people to do it for. So that's the coaching that you've got to take your team through, because if you also don't have the presence of mind as a leader to recognize that they are human who feel things too, and it's not just, oh, Duma Collective lost a client. Duma Collective is made of human beings who feel things, and you've got to take them through the process of mourning, but also seeing the opportunity and seeing that there's a brighter day. I think that's the art of leadership. I think that's the art of being an owner of a business, that it's not just money, it's people.
I love that. It's really powerful. Dropping bars, yeah. This is incredible. Tell me, let's manifest quickly, top 5 or top 2 or clients that you would love to be working with.
I'm working with a lot of them already. Like when I was 21, I think I wrote a list of 10 clients I want to work for. And then I either worked in the business or they became the business's client. And
amazing.
That's a God thing, right? Like, what a guy.
Yeah.
Who just knows your dreams, and his promises are yes and amen, right? That if you collaborate with your maker in making things happen, then they do. And then last year, or beginning of this year actually, the leadership team decided these are the clients we're going for. We became very intentional, and boom, one by one, it started happening. We're not like, we wanted the work, now what do we do? Right? So there's that. So in manifesting now, I would say more global companies, I think. I would love to service a Live Nation. Yes. I would love to. Like,
yes.
Live Nation.
Yes.
Any talent that comes onto the continent.
Yes.
I want to be part of that. Okay, fine. That's a Live Nation. A talent that has a brand. If you think of like Drake and Nocta.
Yes.
I would love to do something.
Develop a brand between artist and...
Yeah. Like,
wow.
Bring Nocta onto the continent. I mean, it's here, Nike, and they're doing what they're doing, but it could be so much bigger.
Yes.
And we would love to be part of something like that.
Yes.
We've got multinational brands that we love servicing, and like corporations. And we've got a broadcaster in the UK, so that's huge. Maybe, we've got a client in Asia, so that's also fine. Maybe a hotel group would be great. And clients that have more budget to allow my team to travel. I want my team to see the world. I want them to get more exposure. We've gotten to go to NBA All-Star Weekend. Some people are like, oh my God, what? Changing terminals in an airport? That's crazy. I love that. Yes. So I want my team to be able to see the world. So clients that can help my team see the world is what I'm manifesting.
Yes, I love that. It's going to happen. Last question.
No!
If you could ask God one question, what would you ask him?
Why do people die? Why do people die? It's so sad.
Yeah, it's a great question. I love that you're being so real with him.
Yeah.
Anything else from your side?
You're amazing.
Thank you.
And this is going to be so big.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Because everything you've touched has become huge. George.
I appreciate that.
I can't believe it. Like, do people know? Do people know where you come from?
I don't.
Have
think
you
so,
told
no.
people? If you were to, my turn. If you were to describe how George Avakian got to where he is now.
Oh my word! Started from the beatbox, now we're here. No, kidding. But it's definitely a journey. You know, I think I've always taken on quite different things. They've somewhat worked together, but it's always just been. I love to experience new disciplines. You know, I think that's something I'm always crazy about. So if it's like a podcast, I want to learn to use the software, the cameras, mixing, the color grading, I outsource when the time's right, but I always love to just figure out the essence of something before, you know, whether it's the festival, whether it's events, or whether it's sponsorship, or, you know, so I love to really get my hands dirty. But yeah, it's been a beautiful journey. I'm excited about taking on new disciplines after this, you know. This is like one step, and then maybe in the future movies, or maybe, you know, just
So
keep it interesting. And, you know,
what I'm getting from that, and I think this is my parting shot, is what you've really been good at is being curious
yes,
and also collaborating.
yes,
I mean, you collaborate on this podcast
yes,
with the amazing.
yeah,
And that's the thing. Curiosity and collaboration.
yes,
That is what is going to make all of us realize our absolute and true potential.
absolutely, absolutely. From my side, I just want to say, Sibu, you are like, the word like legend doesn't even define you. It's
I'm
like
too young, please.
No, please.
Mike
trust
Tyson
me.
said it. Legacy is just, what did he say?
You know, like you're one of those people that's like, you know, and you're always calm. You know, in the eventing space, people, they're not calm. Like, you've always got such consistency with your energy, with your personality. And I don't doubt there's tough days, and I don't doubt there's tough times. And I think the way you always keep it together, that's like the first sign, the eventing thing that I'd pick up. And the people I'd always keep close to me are the ones who could weather the storm.
Sure.
Because the storm is coming. Like,
Yes.
that's for sure, you know? And you are just such a brilliant mind. I think there's so many other things that I know that once you get involved with, you're going to just take to a whole other level. You know,
Sure.
you just really get it. And it really is an honor to know you.
Sure.
And it's a real honor to watch your journey. Like, I do not doubt you are going to be a billionaire founder, you know, like, and anything you touch is going to be something that is going to be a global play, you know. I think what I would really be excited to also see you do is, like, outside of just like the servicing side of the business, I'd love to see you also just take on something that's the other way around, you know.
Okay.
Because I think you would just be phenomenal, whether it's your own tech startup, you know, that's like Fiverr, and people come to you for, you know, African creative
Sure.
perspective on stuff, or whatever it is. I think once you have something that's going to scale to a whole other level, like, I don't doubt, like, I could see you, genuinely, I could see you as like founding a tech company and just taking it to a whole other level. There's like, doesn't feel like there's anything you cannot do. And I think that's your superpower, and I'm so excited to watch your journey further. I can't wait to do this again. And then
in 10 years, and I can say, you told me so.
I don't think you need 10 years, to be honest with you. I think it's going to be more like 2 or 3, and you're going to be like, you see,
man.
like, you know. So thank you so much. Thank you for making time. And yeah, I appreciate you, and I look forward to seeing it all unravel. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. That was so beautiful. I think you're going to resonate with so many people.